Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chloe and if you don't know me, I am the owner of RetroChlo shop on Depop, Vinted, and we have our own website as well. But most of the time I just want to create videos to help you guys kickstart your reselling business. So today we're diving into my top tips for Vinted because you absolutely love my Depop one. I didn't realise how many people would actually watch it, so it was actually really nice to see so many people engaging and love the video. I'll probably make a part 2 for Depop at some point, but I thought let's talk about Vinted because I haven't spoken about Vinted, and I feel like I really should speak about Vinted because I've just gone pro. It has been a long time coming, and I thought at some point I'm going to have to go pro. So I've done it, I've took the leap, and honestly, it's the best decision I've ever made. And I will probably make another video to talk about Vinted Pro as well. But this video is specifically for the top tips that I find are the best in terms of selling your item really fast, getting the right buyers, and converting buyers really, really quickly within 24 hours. And how you can do that so that you're not getting the 0 view mark, especially when there's so many items out there already. It's really difficult sometimes to get the viewers on yours. So this video should hopefully explain how to do all of that, cover a few things that I've learned along the way as well. So I really hope that you love it. If you are new here, then please like, comment and subscribe because it will mean that I keep making more videos like this and helping you guys on your reselling journeys. Yeah, it's really great to be a part of that. But today we're talking literally everything about Vinted, everything I know. I'm going to spill it all so that you guys can have the insider information, I suppose. We're going to talk listing, pricing, shipping. We're going to do it all. We're going to do it all in this video. I will literally speak a little bit about Vinted Pro at the end and how I found it. It might be different to using Vinted normally. So if you're ready to make more sales and grow your own shops, then please stick around. My first tip is that photography sells. Now, sometimes I don't think people actually understand how important photography is. I think the best thing you can do right now, literally just do this. Go onto Vinted, search for something that you're looking for and scroll on the app, okay? And then don't think about it too much, just scroll. And then the items that you're drawn towards, that you click on, look at their photography. Look at the way that the garment is hung, if it's modeled, if it's flat laid. Look at why you were drawn to that listing over all of the others. You already have this kind of feel of what you think is professional because you've picked that item based off the fact that it looked good. And what is that person doing to make it look good? And I'll tell you what it is. So they're using natural lighting or softbox lighting that you can find on Amazon really, really cheaply. Using a plain background or even a minimal background similar to this is so crucial. Showing every single angle, every single flaw, if there is any, is really, really, really important. Buyers on Vinted are looking for the bargains. However, if your photo looks expensive, it looks professional, and it's an item that they're not going to find anywhere else, they will actually pay that higher price point. Then that brings me to tip number 2, which is descriptions. You want to be able to craft these descriptions that enable you to convert shoppers to buyers. And it's really, really easy once you know what to do. So you've got your item, okay? Now, a lot of things like fast fashion, that's not going to sell that high price point. And also, the market is already saturated. So, to be honest, I wouldn't advise even trying to resell this stuff unless it's new with tags. A lot of the time, people will pay that higher price point for a nice brand, vintage item, or just something that's handmade or looks really, really unique. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't list all of your items anyway, because there's always going to be a market for them. It's just really, really oversaturated. So you have to think about how many people are going to have that same top, especially if it's fast fashion. They produce those so like over and over and over again. So you could be selling your top for £10. Another seller could have the same exact top as you, selling it for £4. So if you can understand that, you can kind of go from there. Advise not to resell fast fashion and focus on the high quality in demand items at the moment. What you're going to start to do is make sure that you include the brand, the size, actually start to invest in a tape measure. You can get these on Amazon. I would recommend that you actually do this because you can put the length, the pit to bit, the waist, they're all there and the buyer won't ask you for them. They'll just check out straight away. Mention if it's true to size or oversized because vintage sizing can be tricky. Also, SEO. I keep going on about this, but you have to learn it. Do a course in it or, literally just sit and research it online. Understand SEO. A lot of the time, if it's in your niche, you could literally just use an app. You could literally use what people are already looking for. And it's mainly these keywords that hold a lot of authenticity, like Y2K, 90s, cottagecore, fairycore, whimsy goths. You've got a lot like retro, grunge. All these keywords matter. And if they're not in your description, what are you doing? You've got to make sure that they're in your description. You have to remember that buyers actually search using these keywords. So having them in your description will actually pull them through the algorithm. So again, just literally think like your buyer and you can't go wrong. Also, be sure to include the material as well because that's also an amazing thing. A lot of the time, if I don't include the material in the garments, I get a lot of questions. But if it's there, I won't have those questions and buyers can check out easily. Also, don't overload them with loads of policies as well and your shipping policies and your bundles because less is more. Having the right keywords and actually stating what the garment is, the size, the quality, is way more important than having loads of different keywords. You have to understand that you're teaching the algorithm to understand what the item is. And if you've got things in there that are completely irrelevant to what that item is, it's not going to be pulled up in search and then your item is not going to sell. Which then brings me to pricing. When you actually start to price your items, I think at the time it's like, okay, if you want to turn this into a full-time income, you need to be able to price things that you need to find a niche that will sell for that high price point every single time, or you're going to have more or less items with a higher quality value, and that way then you can actually make a full-time steady income from this. You don't want to be doing £10 sales all the time. Yes, that's great if you've got a large inventory, but if you're focusing on the high quality pieces, don't undersell yourself. So when it comes to actually pricing your item, look at comp. So comps essentially are what items have already sold for, and you could usually find these on eBay, Depop, and Vinted as well, or even just look up the item on Vinted, see how much it's worth, see how much people are selling it for, and that way then that can give you a little estimate of how much it might be worth. Even just Google it. Like sometimes that's the easiest option. When it comes to pricing as well, price slightly higher than what you want for it. That gives you a little wiggle room for offers. And bundle discounts can encourage bigger sales as well. So if you have your bundle discounts turned on, that means that a buyer is probably going to shop with you because they can get 20% off if they buy 2 or more items. And don't forget that the buyer pays for the fees as well, and they pay for shipping. So make sure that you're being reasonable, but also make sure that it reflects the value of the item as well. Once you've done all of these things, there's no reason why your items can't sell within 24 hours. Majority of my stock that goes online now will sell within 24 to 48 hours, either £5 below asking price or full price. And that's because when you start to include, even like to go back to descriptions, when you start to write in a little sort of paragraph, I'm going to give you an example of what I do here. Okay, this is kind of telling your buyer like why they should buy it and why it's amazing and why they should check out with it, rather than just writing what it is. Okay, that's great and anyone can do that. But once you start to brand yourself and once you start to talk about the garment, psychologically, they're going to be reading that thinking, yeah, I see myself in it, wearing this skirt, wearing these trousers, wearing these shoes with it. Eventually, they start to picture an outfit, they see this item, and before you know it, you've got a sale. Pricing and description psychology are really, really important. Tip number 4 is always be active where possible. I know for me, I am full-time, so I'm always on the app, uploading or messaging buyers or dealing with different things. Some of you, I know if you've only just started this, you might have other jobs, so it might not be your priority, which is absolutely fine. But in the evening, set aside an hour, 2 hours to just either list new items, reply to messages, and then actually ship your items fast as well. That's really crucial. So being active and shipping fast means that you'll get more return customers. Some of the things I would also say as well is sharing and bumping your listings. Now, I don't do this because I have I have over 1,100 items in stock, so I don't feel the need to do that. So for me, I think the easiest way to do this is either if you have 50 items in stock, then think about bumping or doing a spotlight wardrobe. But if they haven't sold, just go back in and tweak the SEO, tweak the wording or something like that. It's much more easier when you start to do these things. Number 5 is shipping and packaging, which we kind of touched on. Shipping fast is so important. Please package your stock neatly and wash it if it needs to be washed first. Using recyclable packaging and ethical packaging that you can buy online is way more important than sending it in a carrier bag. I suppose that's okay if you ran out of bags or you're just getting into this, but poly mailers are so cheap and you can buy them online. Send offers quickly. So if a buyer likes your item, wait 5 minutes, then send the offer. It's really crucial and it's really important because it's actively they're shopping for that item. They might have liked loads of different ones, but if you've sent them an offer that they can resonate with and think, yes, that's the price I want to pay, they're more inclined to buy your item than wait for ages to find another item similar. This will generate you good reviews, which when future shoppers come to your shop, they can already see the amazing reviews that you have, which gives this trust window to be able to buy into you. Then brings me to top tip number 6, which is reviews. Vinted is great because it does actually leave you an automatic review, even if the buyer doesn't actually leave you a review, which I find really, really useful. Sometimes it's actually nice to message the buyer if they haven't, because some people just genuinely forget to do it. Also, you get paid out quicker, and the fact that you can actually see a person has written you a really nice review is more important than the automated ones. Not every single person is going to write you a review. That was really difficult to say, write you a review. But anyway, that's true. Like, they're not. So don't be disheartened. It's absolutely fine. People just forget and they're living their life at the end of the day. They're wearing their garment. They're just living their life. They haven't got time for that. But just focus on the good reviews that you do get, and always try to get 5-star reviews where you can. If something is wrong, do not just ghost the situation because it's not going to go away. The easiest thing you can do is take it upon yourself in that moment, take a minute, understand what the problem is, ask them to return the item if that's easier, because at the end of the day, it probably is, and you're not out of pocket anyway because the money didn't get released to you. So this option is quite useful, but just genuinely deal with it like straight away, because it's much more easier to deal with it than let it sit for ages and then you're getting sort of anxious about it. I still make mistakes, I still get it wrong, and sometimes it's just genuinely down to the fact that a person doesn't like the fit of the item. It's got nothing to do with the item being damaged or broken. It's just the fact that they didn't like the fit of it. And if that is the case, just accept the return. And then that leads me quickly to just talk about Vinted Pro and whether I think it's worth it or not. I know that there was this like big controversy a few weeks ago. Actually get the policies up actually. Then we can talk about them a little bit, just so you guys have a little insight to it. And this is what they're not allowing. And even if you're a Vinted Pro member as well, they still don't allow this. I have it on my phone. So from the 8th of September for Vinted users, Pro and non-Pro users, there are no more, so you cannot delete and relist the same item. That's a big thing. And I know that other platforms allow you to do this, but Vinted is really sort of cracking down on it. I suppose it's down to the drop shippers and things like that. That is like probably the main reason why they've taken this this kind of approach. I'm all for it because at the end of the day, I'd rather have really good quality items to look for than have loads and loads of stock. But as a reseller, it's not great because it means that if an item's been on for 2 months and no one's buying it, what do I do? Do I just cross-list it to another platform? Like, I don't know. It's really difficult unless, of course, you kind of delete the item, retake brand new pictures, rewrite your descriptions, which takes such a long time. But I wouldn't even recommend doing that. I would just literally recommend just, if it hasn't sold, it's probably not going to sell. try cross-listing it somewhere else to start with, and then if it doesn't sell, then maybe just reduce the price. Just keep reducing the price on it, because eventually it will sell, I think. It's just probably not the price that someone's looking for. So cracking down on bots, which again I think is really important, and external software, because I know for a fact that people use these bots to buy stock, then resell them, and that's how people source. Like, I've heard about it. I don't personally do it because I have my own suppliers. They're based in Pakistan, but I don't see how that would be ethical anyway. Like, I really don't, because if you're a full-time business, you need to be buying in masses of stock um, to stay afloat, I suppose. And just buying like one or two things a night, you can get banned for that, I heard. So yeah, I'd advise you not to do that. Actually source physically, go to wholesalers, or use this app called Fleek Vintage Wholesale. That's what I use. It's amazing. I have a discount code which I will link here in case you wanted to buy stock for your vintage shop. They are amazing. I will make another video about the wholesale suppliers, which ones to use. I'm going to do like an honest Fleek review as well. So you guys can get an insight into what it's all about, especially if you're new. Like, I always forget that if you are a complete beginner, you don't know as much as what other resellers know, and that's great because you're about to embark on this amazing journey. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, I know how it feels because I was you at one point and I had no idea. So it's just about teaching yourself, trial and error, and trying not to sort of get caught up in what everybody else is saying, and just literally learn and teach yourself. That's the easiest way I could possibly explain it. The terms and conditions from the 8th of September. So that was like last month, and I really should have made a video last month, but I never did. Making it now. So yeah, they are like really, really big shifts, and I think they're going to like impact a lot of people's businesses. But with that said, there's always going to be something really, really good that comes out of this anyway. And there's obviously a reason why they're doing this. It's obviously like been a big decision that they've had to take. I think it will be more ethical in terms of what we're actually seeing on the app, and we're not going to be drowned with drop shippers and things like that, which again, I don't agree with. I think it's completely wrong. I know where I stand with fast fashion. So yeah, I'm always looking for like the timeless vintage quality pieces anyway. I think they're more important than buying fast fashion anyway, because it doesn't last that long. I'm going to quickly dive into Vinted Pro, but I'll make a brand new video all about this. So to be a pro seller, you must declare yourself as a professional. So basically that means that you need to register with HMRC, which is really, really easy to do. Make a few phone calls to HMRC if you're struggling. I did. So yeah, there's always going to be somebody to help you along the way if you're stuck. But essentially, you just need a UTR number, your national insurance number, all these admin things that basically are the law, and then you'll be able to register as self-employed. The minute that you do that, you can send over all the information to Vinted, who will then verify your account. You do have to submit your documents, either a passport or a driving license. And then once you've done that, once you're all verified, get to business essentially to provide. So yeah, basically, as long as you're not misleading your documents, you'll be fine. It's also talking about, like, when you're a Vinted Pro user, you have to actually provide mandatory information on the listings, like the description and the title. They all have to look professional if you are pro. So include a 14-day withdrawal rights and returns. Okay, that's actually different if you are just a normal regular user. So this essentially means that buyers have the right to return the item within 14 days if they don't like it. Which again, I don't really agree with. But it is what it is, I suppose. But I have found, and I have read a lot of different stories that buyers will buy an item and then they'll wear it for a party and then they'll just return it. That's not acceptable. I don't think that's okay. And I think it's just wrong to do that. So yeah, if you are a buyer, please be mindful, because we as resellers do this for a full-time job. But yeah, I haven't actually dealt with anything like that, unless I have, and I don't know. But yeah, I don't really get many returns, Fingers crossed. So yeah, I hope I'm not going to get returns after that and I'm just going to jinx myself. And then obviously you just have to handle complaints and disputes. But being a pro seller, I would definitely recommend that if you are just starting out, don't go pro straight away. Test the water first, because then this gives you the opportunity to see, you can trial and error all your mistakes basically, because you will make mistakes. There's no right or wrong reason. And if you don't, you're just amazing at it, I suppose. But yeah, I've made mistakes along the way, I'll admit it. And I think being able to just test it first, don't go pro straight away, just test it first. Build a little following up and then convert that account to pro once you've got an understanding of how the app works, where you're going. And you don't have to be a sole trader to sell on Vinted. So that's another brilliant thing as well. I think really important as well, again, it has nothing to do with any of these tips, it's just a tip I find really useful, is to actually log your sales when you start. A lot of people just buy stuff, put it online, sell it. Yeah, they've got profit, but I think what you should do, even if, like, say for example, I'll show you this book here, and this has basically all the information that I'll ever need. I'm a bit of an old school girl when it comes to taxes and things like that. I prefer it in a book where it's not going to get deleted. It's not going to get removed. But obviously you can use Excel spreadsheets as well, which I do use as well. So I have I manually write everything into the book in the month, and then I literally just copy it into my spreadsheet for that month. But being able to see what you're spending, what you're making, what your fees are. I know for Vinted you don't have fees, but for other platforms you do. But being able to see all of that across that month is so useful. If you can see exponential growth every single month, you're doing something right. So definitely stick at it and don't ever give up. So I think that concludes my Vinted top tips, and I really hope that you loved it. I actually really love filming this. Way too much to talk about in one video, so there will be multiple videos where I discuss different things, in terms of, like, things I'm still learning today. Yeah, so thank you ever so much for watching. Again, please drop me a like if you love the video, and subscribe if you're new. It means that I keep making videos like this for you. And yeah, also I'll link all of my socials down below in case you want to follow me on Instagram. I'm probably more active there every day than I am here. So if you want to drop me a follow there and follow along with the journey, you're more than welcome to. I really hope that you found this video useful, and either start a Vinted account or keep growing on the one that you have, or switch to pro. I literally switched to pro like a couple of months ago. So yeah, it's been a journey. I'm definitely going to make a video about this because I think it's really interesting. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to let you all go and have a beautiful rest of your day. I will see you in the next video.